On this Labor Day, as political theater and ceremonial pomp collide at the center of American power, a set of stories swirling from the White House have raised more questions than answers about transparency, decorum, and the taste for spectacle that appears to accompany the current administration. A video circulating on social media shows what appear to be unidentified objects being hurled from a White House window, prompting immediate questions about what exactly is being discarded, from where, and why. The footage, which has drawn millions of views in a matter of hours, shows a sequence of bags and loose items being tossed onto the south lawn, the identity of the office or room involved, and the exact contents far from being independently verified as of the time of reporting. In a landscape where every new clip can be shared and reshaped within minutes, the lack of verifiable detail has fueled a swirl of speculation among observers, some of whom raise questions about whether the White House is merely engaging in a symbolic, if chaotic, cleanup, while others warn against drawing conclusions from social media excerpts that may be cut or edited to tell a particular story. Beyond this vivid tableau, the broader political climate remains unsettled, with a set of intersecting issues that have kept the nation's attention and prompted a familiar drumbeat of commentary. On the economic front, critics have pointed to tariff policies and the perceived missteps of strategic protectionism as potentially harmful to growth, arguing that the approach risks undermining consumer prices and supply chains at a moment when the country's recovery remains uneven. Supporters of the administration, by contrast, insist that tough trade posture is necessary to safeguard national interests and to push back against what they describe as unfair practices abroad, contending that the long-term national interest will be served by standing firm in negotiations, even if the immediate consequences touch certain sectors hard. Alongside these debates, there is continued attention on the handling of public health programs and the level of scrutiny applied to an ongoing assessment of program performance, as well as persistent concerns about the health and well-being of key figures within the White House, all of which contribute to a sense of unease about how policy decisions are made and communicated. Within this clamor, the White House has also signaled what could be described as a major architectural and symbolic initiative. Pennsylvania Avenue is reported to be set for a substantial renovation, with the administration unveiling a plan to repurpose the East Wing, traditionally used for the offices of the First Lady, by converting that space into a 90,000-square-foot ballroom. The intention is described by the president as a grand entertaining venue, a space long desired by the administration for official and ceremonial events. The plan has been framed as a substantial upgrade that would allow for large-scale state dinners and other gatherings without the practical constraints of tents or temporary arrangements. The price tag attached to the project, estimated by the president at around $200 million, has drawn both attention and skepticism, particularly as the president has suggested that the cost would be covered not only by his own resources, but also with support from private donors, a phrasing that NBC News cited when the president described the project as a gift to the country. Historically, the White House has seen major structural changes and expansions, though not always without controversy or doubt about funding and feasibility. The Truman Balcony, a renowned feature added in the mid-20th century, remains a reference point for the kinds of transformations presidents have pursued. Critics have suggested that the proposed ballroom would mark a dramatic departure from traditional uses of the East Wing and could redefine what the White House represents in terms of public accessibility and ceremonial function. Those who support the project argue that a larger, more flexible space could enhance diplomatic engagements, offer a more dignified setting for official functions, and reflect a modern era's demands for hosting large international delegations and domestic gatherings with a tailored sense of pageantry and formality. Opponents, meanwhile, have pointed to the financial footprint, questioning whether a private-funded luxury project is appropriate in a capital economy that faces competing needs for infrastructure, public health investments, and social programs. The debate illuminates a broader tension about how much the executive branch should invest in symbolism versus substantive governance, a theme that surfaces repeatedly whenever a president contemplates a major public structure or a major public-facing initiative. Within the discussion of the ballroom and its potential grandeur, the president's remarks have been cited in media briefings as part of a broader narrative about personal priorities and a sense of ownership over the project. The president has repeatedly described the initiative as a personal gift to the country, a framing that has fueled a range of reactions. Supporters see the gesture as a bold investment in the nation's image, a demonstration of confidence and aspirational leadership, and an assertion of control over the narrative of the White House's modernization. Critics, by contrast, view the description as an attempt to personalize a public expense, raising questions about accountability, budgeting, and the distribution of resources across competing public needs. The tension between these interpretations reflects a longer-running debate about how presidents frame major decisions and how the public interprets the symbolism embedded in such acts of construction and investment. A separate strand of the discussion concerns the practicalities of the proposed renovation and its potential knock-on effects on daily life at the White House. Reports indicate that the work could require significant scheduling adjustments, with ceremonies, tours, and official visits potentially affected as the project proceeds. There are questions about the timing of construction, the logistics of coordinating high-profile events with ongoing work, and the ways in which the public-facing image of the presidency would be maintained throughout a period of substantial transformation. In this context, the administration has sought to reassure the public that the project would be conducted with careful planning and adherence to security and protocol standards, while critics warn that any disruption could erode the sense of continuity that has long characterized the White House as a symbol of stability and normalcy. The commentary around this topic has included pointed quotes from lawmakers, advisors, and observers who weigh in on the affordability, feasibility, and strategic value of the ballroom plan. Some voices suggest that the administration's emphasis on public grandeur is a reflection of an effort to project strength and resilience amid domestic and international pressures. Others argue that elevated spending on ceremonial spaces may distract from pressing concerns that affect everyday Americans, including the cost of living, employment, and access to health care. The public discourse thus fractures into camps about priorities and about the meaning of leadership in a moment of political polarization, with each side offering its own lens on what the White House should be doing to reflect the country's values, aspirations, and immediate needs. Against this backdrop, the day's lower profile but no less provocative episodes continue to unfold. A video documented scene depicting unknown White House staff members appearing to dispose of what could be household or office waste from a window has sparked a flood of speculation about what items were being discarded and why. The footage lacks definitive identification of the specific room or office involved, and there is no independent confirmation of the exact contents of the bags or items seen in flight. Viewers have offered a wide range of theories, from mundane explanations like cleanup after an event or an office turnover to more sensational conjectures about the presence of sensitive documents or other items that might demand heightened security considerations. The narrative has been amplified by a chorus of social media commentators who have attached sensational possibilities to the footage, sometimes extending into partisan commentary that links the incident to broader questions about governance, accountability, and loyalty within the administration. In parallel with these events, the video segment has provoked a particularly charged set of comments among viewers who relayed not only their interpretations of what they saw, but also a stream of speculations about the potential implications for the administration's credibility. Some viewers asserted that controversy around the content demonstrates a broader pattern of mismanagement or careless handling of important materials, while others urged caution, emphasizing the need for verification and restraint in the face of unverified or misleading online material. This dynamic, the rapid spread of seemingly dramatic visuals paired with uncertain provenance, illustrates a contemporary media environment in which images can travel faster than the facts, and where audiences are often invited to draw conclusions before official statements can clarify the situation. Amid these discussions, the channel and its broader community have not shied away from injecting their characteristic voice into the discourse. The rhetoric has leaned into a mix of skepticism, irony, and an orientation toward accountability, with commentators asking pointed questions about why certain decisions are made, how information is shared with the public, and what standards of transparency should apply to the highest offices in the land. The conversations have included references to historic episodes of White House modernization and to broader debates about the role of symbolic architecture in shaping public perception of governance. While some observers caution against conflating online commentary with verifiable fact, others argue that the rapid production of narratives around unfolding events is an inevitable feature of contemporary political life, one that can help hold leaders to account while also risking the spread of misinformation if not carefully contextualized and fact-checked. In this environment, the central questions remain: what exactly is happening behind the scenes at the White House on this holiday? And how should the public understand the convergence of a major renovation plan, a dramatic public display, and a feed of online content that often blends rumor with analysis, satire with scrutiny? The available material suggests a chain of developments that touch on governance, architecture, media dynamics, and the ethics of public leadership. The ballroom plan, with its ambitious scope and controversial price tag, promises to redefine certain public-facing rituals and ceremonial capabilities of the presidency, while the on-the-ground footage of discarded objects raises concerns about the daily operations, security, and management practices inside the executive residence. Whether these are signs of a new era of White House life or simply a moment of sensational storytelling remains to be seen, and the coming days are likely to bring clarifications, counterpoints, and perhaps new footage or official statements that could shift the discourse in meaningful ways. For now, observers, commentators, and casual viewers alike are left with a sense of a moment in American politics that feels both chaotic and consequential, a Labor Day in which the past and the future of the presidency seem to be colliding in a form that is difficult to categorize. The questions about credibility, governance, and the balance between spectacle and substance will not be resolved overnight, but they will continue to shape how citizens engage with their leaders, how the media interprets and disseminates information, and how the administration navigates a landscape that prizes both transparency and presentation. As events unfold, the public will be watching not only the headlines but the quiet details, security briefings, internal planning documents, and the day-to-day realities of running a nation that ultimately determine whether this moment will be remembered as a symbolic milestone, a misstep in the management of public resources, or a turning point in how the White House communicates with the American people. This is the state of play on Labor Day in Washington, where the drama of governance, the allure of architecture, and the power of storytelling intersect in ways that remind us all that the presidency is as much about perception as it is about policy, and that the line between spectacle and stewardship remains as delicate as ever. And with that, the channel and its audience will continue to monitor, critique, and weigh the next developments, because in a capital defined by its capacity for narrative, every day carries the possibility of a new chapter in the story of American leadership.